I had planned to start the news in a very demure and mindful way. But that tune! Wow! Hello! It's the EV Café News. 30 minutes of what's happening in sustainable transport with expert analysis from the EV Café crew and powered by Drax electric vehicles, supporting business through the transition. Now then, today's opinions on a stick, we have but two, and they are Pablo. Hello, my dear chap.
Hola. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And the quite wonderful Sam. Now, it looks like you've been on some covert mission.
Milk tray is incoming.
Yeah. All right. I got nothing.
Well, that's a first. Now then, a few words about Sarah. Now, Sarah is in the chat, I understand. It's been a bit of a toughie for her this week. Surgery on Saturday, some other stuff that's been a bit of a challenge. But that's all been balanced by a new Guinness World Record on a motorbike. And despite the surgery, she's here backing the EV community. I know she's very grateful for all the love and support that she's had from people post-op. And we send our very best to Sarah, our EV superstar in an electric car or on an electric motorbike. Sam, briefly, the world record. Congratulations, my friend, because you were involved too.
Yeah, I was involved too. Yeah, and firstly, before we go into that, I'd just like to echo what you said, John. Sarah has had one hell of a week for very, very different reasons, and we're wishing her all the very, very best. But one of those positive outputs of this week for her is, having her shoulder finally fixed, and she's on the mend, which is fantastic. And of course, the Guinness World Record. Yes, so. It's number 3 for me. It's number 1 for Sarah, and it's been one hell of a journey again to do something of this magnitude. Like all of them, there was jeopardy. Things went wrong at the 11th hour or the 14th hour, I think it was. Bless you, Paul. And we're just delighted to have done it again, right? So it's great to be able to prove the art of the possible once again on a different type of vehicle this time. So. I'm creeping ever closer to the Grand Slam now with a motorbike, a car, and a van. And so there's one other type which I probably need to look to. But from Sarah's perspective, it's great that she has her own little certificate on the wall now, and she's been able to prove something to herself, that she's been able to do something quite special on 2 wheels. And I'm delighted for her. It was another great challenge. Hats off again to Generate Media for pulling such a fantastic high quality video together, and a huge thanks also to the Webfleet team again, who have done all telemetry, to the wonderful guys at the EV Café, the wonderful guys at the AA who did all the support driving, to the wonderful Verge Motorcycles, and of course Kevin Booker as well, who remains a 5-time Guinness World Record holder, because unfortunately, well, much as I'm grinning because it amuses me greatly, he wasn't able to be on this one because he hasn't got a motorbike license. So thank you to him for being the unrelenting support driver on the day as well. So as always, it's a massive team effort. Sarah and I getting the plaudits for being the one on the bike, but there are all these other people that have supported us on this journey, and I thank you all for all your help in that. It's been a hell of a thing.
Now, you mentioned one other vehicle type that you don't have a world record for. I assume that's the attempt to take an electric scooter from John O'Groats to Land's End?
Yeah, sure. Well, let's go with that.
I think that's definitely a good idea.
All right, enough of this nonsense. Well done, Sam. Well done, Sarah. Well done to the whole team. Love you lots. Let's move on. And coming up, the diesel van ban extension has been welcomed, but incentives are still needed. And Paul is beside himself with interest. We've also got a study that finds that global EV uptake fails to cut CO2. Fascinating report. We'll look at that in a little more detail. The UK government is to invest £38 million in zero-emission buses, and they're going to magically turn that into 150 million. We find out about that story in a second. And hydrogen. Wouldn't be an EV cafe without talking about hydrogen. Some projects have been selected for funding. This is good news. Let's move on, because we first have the EV Café commercial clap, where we highlight innovation and new things in our industry. So let's chat.
A commercial clap from the EV Café.
Innovation applauded.
Now then, first up, Chargy has been awarded UK's first Levi-funded contract and one of the largest by Brighton and Hove City Council. This multi-million pound investment supports a 15-year transformative partnership with Brighton and Hove Council. The contract, valued at around £130 million, will deliver over 6,000 public on-street residential charge points across the city. The rollout of a citywide network will benefit circa 60,000 households without driveways, over 50% of all homes in Brighton and Hove, and we want to thank Nick Hulin for this story. He sent it across to us. Really appreciate that, Nick. Innovation happening in Brighton and Hove. And in a similar story, Trojan Energy reached out this week, and Mark Constable from Trojan Energy sent us a partnership with Harrow Council, delivering innovative on-street EV charging. The new partnership brings 100 clutter-free electric vehicle charge points to the streets of Harrow. I think you'll find that's still the chargy one, but there we go. Trojan Energy is proud to announce a new partnership with the London Borough of Harrow, which will see 100 innovative on-street EV charge points installed across the borough. The rollout funded through the government's, and this is the important part, on-street residential charge point scheme. There is money available. Has begun and will deliver a transformative boost to the borough's EV infrastructure, making it easier for residents without driveways to conveniently charge their cars. Thanks, Mark, for that one. And finally, DPD begins a road test of electric HGVs. And they've taken the HGVs from MAN, or MAN, whatever you want to call them, with the aim of introducing heavy-duty electric trucks fully later this year, running the road trials with the MAN ETGX, which has a range of up to 800 kilometres or 500 miles. Yeah, you heard that right. 500 miles from a truck and a charging capacity of up to 750 kilowatts. The truck will be based at DPD's Hinckley hub, and it will be assigned to a DPD route for operational testing, towing a standard trailer, following in full induction and driver training. And that is key. That is the commercial clap. Well done, you three. Let's move on. Right. The government's decision. Well, thank you, Paul. The government's decision to give fleets longer to make the switch to zero-emission vans has been welcomed, but it is being warned that material effective incentives will still be required. Paul has a frown. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. The Department for Transport confirmed on Monday, April the 7th, that it's ending the sale of new petrol and diesel cars from 2030, with hybrids to be sold until 2035. Well, that's not strictly true, because actually, 80% of vehicles that are electric will need to be electric by 2030, 100% by 2035. And these headlines are everywhere that new petrol and diesel cars are being banned from 2030. It is just not true. Anyway, vans with an internal combustion engine will be allowed to be sold until 2035 alongside full hybrids and plug-in hybrid like commercial vehicles. Paul Hollick, chair of the trade body, the Association of Fleet Professionals, easy for me to say, said, from a fleet industry point of view, the big news here concerns vans. Whilst electrification of the company car park has its difficulties, notably around very poor residual values, van electrification is proving much more problematic, with many operators finding current vehicles simply unsuitable for their needs in terms of range, payload, and cost. Paul, hold on. Coming to you. Fair to say, it's not all roses round the door, but with 1 in 4 car sales being electric and that number's growing, it's a healthy state for cars. Now, Paul, vans are a whole different box of products. Talk to us.
Well, first of all, let's clear something up right away. The government have not just announced that diesel will be allowed up to 2035. That is absolute nonsense. It was announced back in October last year that they were removing the ban from 2030, and that was stipulated. The new government said that it was going to be back to 2030, but for cars, and they've now clarified that point, and they've just added a layer of clarification that actually the diesel van situation remains the same, that diesel vans will be allowed to be sold up till 2035, but along the lines of the ZEV mandate, which is 70% of all vans must be electric, by 2030. And then the remainder sort of transition over those. Thanks very much. Shut up. And so the bottom line is we've got a situation that it's misinformation as always, but also there are a lot of vans that will do a lot. Let's focus on what can be done, because we've seen some growth. We've seen a number of the bigger fleets are readdressing their commitment to zero emission. You've got BT going big, Royal Mail going big. We know that Centrica and others are all kind of focused on getting back on track with getting lots of electric vans on. And we're seeing some smaller fleets also going for it as well. And people, new products coming to market, like we'll see at the CV show, the Kia, with their PV5, the Horizon SV, and then Flexis announcing their launch of products which will be available in 2026. So we are seeing plenty of vehicles coming to market. So let's not get complacent and think that it won't do the job, because it will do the job from a payload perspective. There's very many vehicles out there that will do well enough for payload. A lot of the vehicles will serve in terms of range, and some of the bigger vehicles coming to market, which is going to be addressed for the 4.25 ton stuff, will do over 250 miles. WLTP, I know, but you've still got plenty enough to get some stuff done. So look, be positive, see what you can do, and just address the facts as they are, not just seek a headline.
Yeah, and Sam, I guess the point is that these vehicles can do a job for very many businesses, and it's about knowing your data, knowing where your vehicles are going, what the journey cycles are, how much payload you've got, and making informed decisions.
Indeed, and we've had Angus from Dynamon on the show previously, just to show the art of the possible, where the lowest hanging fruit is for fleets that have done that data analysis and demonstrated in all sizes of vehicles that everyone's got that opportunity to start somewhere, and that's where we've got to do it. The only thing I'd like to add, as a side note really to what Paul said, was let's bear in mind that we're talking about legislation which kicks in 5 to 10 years' time. Now, 5 to 10 years ago, my electric fleet had a range of about 14 miles per van. This afternoon, I'm picking up a car which can comfortably do 400 miles without even trying. So in 5 years' time, just imagine what the ranges of these vehicles are going to be like. It's going to be, there's going to be another 20-30% range. And that means that window of data analysis and that lowest hanging fruit becomes the third, fourth, fifth, sixth branch up the tree. So in many ways, I think hybrids will be gone, because why would you have a secondary engine when the first one's doing a perfectly good job and doing 300-400 mile range in a van? So I think let's just also hold out to the fact that technology is continually advancing. And therefore, what we see and understand to be the technology limitations of today will not be the same in 5 years' time.
Wise words from you both. Thank you kindly. Let's move to Sam's favourite part and the reason why he tunes in every week. It is the shout-outs. And really exciting stuff this morning. 9:05 this morning, Steve Warts from Volvo Economy Trucks kicked the door in. Now then, Steve, hit us up in the DMs, come to LinkedIn, find me, send me a little message, my friend, or email us at hello@evcafe.org, because you have won a mug. You don't have a mug, and you should have a mug. So we'll sort it out for you, geezer. Gary Comerford, he popped in and then cleared off again, just to say hello. Well done, Sam and Sarah, for their world record-breaking bike ride. He had a meeting at 10 o'clock. What a muppet. Daryl Sharp, lovely to see you. He spent the last 2 days in Manchester at the rear end of Concorde. How rude. James from Screamwash King. Hello, my friend. Good to see you in Sevenoaks. Clean Tech fan. Tell us all. Tell us who you are. You're on YouTube. Good to see you. Scott Eady. Hello, geezer. Lots of emojis. Lovely to see that. Teresa Swift in sunny Kent. She's got a cuppa. Michael Barton in sunny Bristol. Is everybody sunny today? And then he's here. It's Peter Heath. He's got nice teeth. Lovely to see you, my friend. Now then, Ian Mayhew in Bournemouth. Good to see you. Sarah Wellstead in Dursley. Gloucester. Oh, look. She's in Gloucester there, Sam. Look, down by your lap.
Gloucester. No. Brilliant.
Ah, indeed. Paul O'Brien. Good morning, dear sir. Ron Godfrey. Good morning, good people. He needs more coffee. Ash Bannister, old Two Mugs, is here. Lovely to see Sarah in the chat. She didn't catch the tune. That is available on a 12-inch EP. It's not really. Belinda Guy, lovely to see you. Morning. Rachel Lewis from Compleo. Matthew Ling from Suffolk. We'll be seeing you at the CV show, my friend, on the stage, giving it the large. Good to know. Lulu O'Hagan, she's here again. That's 3 weeks of Lulu. Oh, love a Lulu. Right, 23 degrees here. 23 degrees, good gracious. Ben McDonald, he's got... oh, goodness gracious, he's got 23 degrees as well. Darren Anvona, Thomas Edwards, good to see you back. Alan Akerster, hope you're doing well, my friend. Pam Hanlon from Power. Laura Huswick Wilkes, also from Power, good to see you. Mark Main, thank you for being in our chat this week. Leo Pickford, Paul Shearer Barnfather in Chester. Who else we got? John Jesson from Bristol. Lovely to see you. Who else? Mark Elliott. Thank you for joining. Lloyd Allen. He's in sunny Bristol. 8 out of 10. What more do you want? Good grief. Give it a 10. Dan Martin. Hello, geezer. Oh, I'm running out of age. Amy Carter from Daft Trucks. Oh, Amy, hope you're well. Fashionably late, as always. Just fashionably, darling. Just fashionably. Bob Murphy, up here in Scotland. Good to see you. Stuart Murphy, massive hugs to you. Who else we got? I think we're getting there. LinkedIn user.
Did we get Leo? Did we get
Leo Pickford. I think I did give Leo Pickford a shout, but anyway.
Okay.
Now, Clean Tech fan, Simon and Barbara. Oh, Simon and Barbara from YouTube. Our original 2 fans from YouTube.
Oh, yes, of course.
Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. Great to see you. Now then, shall we move on? Sam, it's over. Take the cheese out your ears, my friend. Right, okay. A study by researchers from the University of Auckland and Xiamen University in China, published in the journal Energy, has found that globally, and this is really challenging, EV adoption increases CO2 emissions. Counterintuitive, but they say it's true. The researchers analysed the environmental impacts of human activity and used a robust statistical approach to investigate what drives a nation's carbon dioxide or CO2 emissions. Using data from 26 countries over 15 years, so this can't just be dismissed. They found a surprising trend. Oh, Sam's got a face. They found a surprising trend. Higher EV uptake was linked to increased CO2 emissions. The reason? In a number of countries, EVs are still being powered by electricity generated through burning fossil fuels like coal or oil. Associate Professor Steve Poletti and Simon Tao, a doctoral candidate at the Business School's Energy Centre, didn't observe a significant reduction in CO2 emissions globally, and that's the important bit, due to EV adoption. On the contrary, Mr. Tao says, EV adoption is positively associated with increased CO2 emissions. Now then, from a UK perspective, at 8:20 this morning, I went and had a little look at what the makeup of our energy mix is. We are generating 38% from gas, fossil fuel, 27% from renewables, not fossil fuel, 14% nuclear, not fossil fuel, 9% biomass, not fossil fuel. Not my favourite, but you know, hey, 'tis what it is. And 12% was imported via interconnectors internationally, making 100%. We don't seem to have the same mix as other jurisdictions. Sam, your face was inside out like you sucked a lemon. Hit me.
Oh, okay, where do I start? Right. I think there's 2 dangerous opinions in this world. One is your own, because often you look at things in an isolation and take a view on everything based on your own experience. And the other one is a sweeping generalization of an opinion based on information that you've learned. And what I've learned from this article is that 15 years worth of information is useful to understand trends. It is not useful to then summarize that the EVs are creating more CO2 emissions as a result. What you need to do is use this data for trends. And if the you've already highlighted it, John, but if the key reason why those statistics and analytics have demonstrated what they have is based on the burning of fossil fuels to make the electricity, well, in the last 15 years, I'm pretty sure the advancement has been colossal. So let's have a look at this over the last year, not the last 15 years, and then let's see whether this analysis still stands true. But I suspect now they've spent 15 years doing it, they want to share all the information they've done. But But to just a sweeping generalisation of this nature, I don't think is particularly useful.
Indeed. Paul, thoughts?
Well, I mean, it brings out a couple of realities in that we do need to decarbonise the energy systems in some of the more polluting countries. Poland, in particular, is noted for its heavy dependence on fossil fuels. So there is going to be some element of fact to this, but this is about setting ourselves up for success. So what we're doing is immediately improving the air quality around the vehicles that we're talking about. Seeing cars, vans, and trucks go zero emission outside of our schools and homes and hospitals. Then it makes a damn sight more sense than using fossil fuel and literally burning it on people's doorstep. But then also the call to action is we need to decarbonize the whole supply chain, be it energy and stuff like that. So I recognise that there are challenges with it, and the creation of the batteries and all of those kinds of things have an intensive process at the beginning, which then diminishes over the life of the thing to improve things over time. So what we've got is a little uptick possibly that will drop away as we do adopt zero emission transport. That is the way of all the world. We've got to set ourselves up for success, and there's a cost to that in every sense of the word, but it gives us the future that we hope for.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I need to pick up on something. Lulu O'Hagan won some sweeties,
Yes.
travel sweeties, a few weeks ago, and they've not arrived. I have already sent a message to our executive assistant, who is being flogged as we speak, and and it will be sorted.
And if she doesn't do it this time, she'll be taken out and shot. Yes, there we go.
Alternatively, we'll just give her lots of praise and love, and she'll do it because she thinks that Paul is the most wonderful human being in the world. Right, let's move on. The UK government is set to invest 37.8 million in green transport with 319 new zero-emission buses. As a result of the investment, every pound of government funding is set to be topped up by at least £3 of private investment, it said. So 38 million quid becomes miraculously 150 million. That's good, isn't it? I like that. The funding's been allocated to 12 successful local authorities across England following bids to expand their zero emission bus fleets. And we'll see those 319 cleaner vehicles serving passengers by spring 2027. The local transport minister, Simon Lightwood, will visit Hull to see how the funding will bring improved journeys for passengers and discuss how highly skilled engineering and construction jobs will be created locally as electric bus infrastructure is delivered. This is great news. Paul, we've talked often about public transport and how important it is, and that nobody gets left behind in this move to cleaner transport.
Absolutely. I was talking with somebody in Belfast yesterday, actually, in their council, a lady called Alison Driver, or Diver, anyway. Alison from Belfast, and she was saying, the challenges that they face over there because they're not getting this public-private connection. They don't get any of the grant money or all this kind of stuff. But she was talking particularly about active travel, something that Sarah often champions, particularly with her work in Bristol and over her time. But active travel forms part of that system, but then when we see good work done in another area which can combine quite nicely with active travel, like bus travel, and that public-private partnership, these seem like really sensible solutions that give us the best bang for buck for government's money and invite investment in. And we've got to give the investors some incentive, haven't we, and some confidence in the future. So government money, putting their money where their mouth is, kind of gives the investors the confidence to think, right, okay, there's a long road ahead, rather than boom and bust and the change of policy. So I think it's great news. I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, we've been running electric buses in Scotland for the last 13, 14 years. Utterly brilliant. We've got our own charging network with Ember, the electric bus company that is now expanding and taking on more routes. Utterly brilliant. Sam, in terms of charging, forgive my ignorance, but bus charging and lorry charging, are there great similarities there? Do you know?
They are, in as much as the technological infrastructure within the vehicles and externally. So yes, they are very much the same. The challenge that often is the case is the physical one, because the bus is charged at the back and the truck's charged at the front. So often it's quite difficult to get them in the same place. However, we've seen examples now like First Bus, for example, where they've got tremendously electrified, fantastic facilities for the electric buses, and they're now offering the same solution at the same depot for trucks when the buses are out. So there is a bit of a physical challenge to overcome, but in a nutshell, yes, the technology is the same. And this is a very, very good example of the advancement in this particular sector. And now that technology is such that electrification of these larger vehicles is possible, this is a bit of a no-brainer, right? It's one of the, logistically speaking, one of the easiest things to do. The vehicles are moving to the same places at the same time every single day, doing the same routes with the same mileage. It's metronomic, and therefore it's very, very easy, more than any other part of logistics or transport of goods or people, to work out what they're going to do every day. And so there is really little reason not to electrify everything from here on in. And this is obviously that's 75, every £3 topping up one is 75% of corporate contribution. So that's tremendous. That's really, really good. And hopefully, that becomes an even larger percentage going forward, such that it's a corporate commercial operation that runs on 100% of private funds, which I would expect it to do in the next few years.
And Amy Carter picks up my point beautifully. Bus depots make ideal truck charging venues in the daytime when empty. Quite right. It's all about putting in that infrastructure and share where you can. Right, final story. 27 hydrogen projects have been selected for the next stage of this. Easy for me to say. Thanks, Sam. 27 hydrogen projects have been selected for the next stage of the second hydrogen allocation round, otherwise known as HAR2. Supporting a low-carbon hydrogen production. Brought to you by pirates in the UK. The UK government said the industry has the potential to attract more than £1 billion of private sector investment in the UK by 2029, supporting the government's mission to become a clean energy superpower. The shortlist includes projects that could use hydrogen to tackle the climate crisis by decarbonising their manufacturing and industrial practices, including ammonia production, new clean power generation, glass manufacturing, brick making, and sustainable aviation fuel production. A large number of schemes involve green hydrogen, and so they should, which is produced by using renewable energy to split the water into hydrogen and oxygen, resulting in a zero carbon fuel that can be used for power generation, transport, and industrial processes. I think, Sam, as we've always said, hydrogen has its place. I'm not sure it's in small transport.
No, indeed, and I will wind my neck in before I say anything, actually, because having listened to you just read that article out, John, the use cases.
Unusual.
Well, I know it does happen from time to time.
We'll take a win.
Yeah, the use cases on these ones make more sense, right? The only thing that it's potentially tipping into that's got wheels is a plane that's actually fundamentally got wings. So that's actually quite a good news story, really. If hydrogen is being looked at in applications that actually make sense, then why not? Although I do love the phraseology there, the potential to attract is just, okay, more than £1 billion of potential to attract, which means it's not going to, is it? But it does sound good on a line on a government announcement. But nevertheless, if this is an application whereby they can commercially, viably demonstrate that hydrogen works, then there's nothing wrong with that, providing that it's done so in an environmental and green way too. So, you tick those boxes, I've got no issue with it. But just for the love of God, do not put it in cars, vans, or trucks, because it's a fool's errand.
I have the potential to attract. It's just always failed. Paul.
Well, do you know what? I was kind of thinking, hydrogen is quite explosive, isn't it? And I see that it's now going to potentially power distilleries in Scotland for their rather explosive juice. Once imbibed across Scotland, turns them into quite an explosive bunch, doesn't it? But so I thought it was quite ironic that we see explosive fuel producing explosive liquid. Excellent.
Okie. Well, we could talk about explosive hydrogen from here till the end of time because, petrol's kind of explosive too. But anyway, if you have any clean transport PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me, it's goodbye from them, and thank you, Sarah, for being in the chat. This has been an EV Cafe production. Other sustainability news services, get your typing fingers ready, are available but this is just funny! Sam clearly doesn't have his mug with him. The EV Café is truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europcar, Iveco, Sperry, Schneider Electric, Dynamon, EV Blocks and AW Energy. We are the EV Café supporting the transition to clean transport, and we are supported on the news by Drax Electric Vehicles. If you wonder where to go, they're in the know. Enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend, wherever it takes you. Until next Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Da-da-down. Excellent.